Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Polarizer podcast. Today I'm talking to Ryan. He's a friend from the United States, and we walked into one another in Australia when we were taking the same vacation. This conversation is mostly about our adventures down there and what it's like to backpack through Australia. So if you're interested in traveling to that part of the world, this is a good episode for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, guys.
Recorded someplace random on this interesting planet we live on, with your host, Nick Hube. You're listening to the Polarizer Podcast.
Coming live on the Bay of Rotterdam, we have my friend Dick.
Oh man, I should actually
We need an intro.
Yeah, would you record some bumpers for me?
I'd love to.
You got a great radio voice, man.
Ladies and... Man, I need to finish this beer first.
Nah, you can drink while we're talking, man.
Right? No, for sobriety purposes, I need to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. When you travel, it's all too easy.
You're telling me.
Man, in Australia, dude, it was, especially since I worked in a bar too, it's easy to just drink casually every day.
Every day, and then you don't, like today, driving in, you don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if it was Friday. Turns out it's Wednesday.
Yep. Well, when you're on vacation, every day is Friday.
That's true. Unfortunately and fortunately.
Yes.
It's the weekend, however, your body tells you, I need a Monday. I need a Monday quick.
All right, man. Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because when I was in Australia about, at this point it's almost a year and a half ago. How time flies. We started in Sydney and we went on this bus tour through Australia, basically, with stops along the way, many different towns.
Going north up the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. And we became good friends there. Just hanging out, having a good time, traveling through Australia.
Nice Australian cities. Met a couple of weirdos in Byron Bay, if you will.
Oh, yeah. But that was the first time you actually went abroad for a long time, right?
My first traveling experience. Yeah.
Really? Outside the U.S. or in general? Let's start at the beginning. You're from...
I'm from South Carolina. And for those who do not know where that is, it's inside the United States of America.
Yeah.
To be 100% proper.
Yeah.
U.S. and A, number 1, yes?
Yeah, and you... So you went to Australia for... How long did you go there?
A little under 3 months.
Mm.
Yeah, it was my first real travel experience because everyone goes to Canada, Mexico, if you're in the States. I've been to some Caribbean islands, which it's basically a vacation, but it's not real travel. Then again, I mean, travel has so many definitions, but whenever you go on a long backpacking tour like we did, travel kind of means a little bit more. Like, we're going halfway across the earth. We're going to figure some stuff out, and we're going to see some new things we thought we would never see.
Right, and that definitely was the case for Australia too, for me at least. Yeah, and that trip, that company was called Loca.
Loca.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you basically book it, and they put you in a little bus with in our case, a bus driver that was a pretty crazy guy.
He was something, all right. Yeah. He took everything he had and he went somewhere with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was a character, man. That guy was...
what was his name?
Nick.
Yes. His face is right in front of me, but I could not remember Nick.
He had a couple of crooked teeth.
Yeah.
And...
Snaggletooth, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was sitting next to him. I was sitting in the front, and he laid some interesting stories on me, man. He was a character for sure.
He's been through some things.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get into that, but he was he was making up these animals, like I was saying, like, yeah, mate, you ever heard of a hoop snake?
A hoop snake?
The hoop snake, it bites his own tail. It rolls down the hill, and then it hits you, and then it breaks your neck.
Breaks your neck right there.
Yeah.
You're going to need Steve Irwin to come back from the dead to save you.
Yeah. And he was telling me that like when they have these like naive young chicks in the bus, that they would
Every
actually
single one
believe
of
him.
them. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. And that's just like one little example of the fun things that you'll experience when you go on a trip like that. You just meet people that are a little bit out there.
Yeah, God, there's so many characters that you'll meet. It's such a wide range. Like, there's no black and white with traveling. Like, there's a huge gray area. There's people you're going to absolutely love, kind of be neutral to, not like, and just absolutely hate.
What's an example of that?
Oh, man, get me started. We need a couple more drinks, too. Oh.
Well, you got two sitting next to you.
Right.
So.
Chug. I can't think of anything I absolutely hate off the top of my head, but I can't think of a recent example where this guy just would not stop talking, and I had absolutely no interest in talking to him whatsoever. Like, he was from America, and then obviously since
those guys are assholes, man.
Yeah, right. What guys? They think just because they wear red, white, and blue, they're better than everyone, huh? That's unbelievable. What kind of people are those? But he was, I think, 45 years old.
Really?
And he was talking to me like he was an 18-year-old guy that has never been with a woman.
Really?
I told him I'm 28 and I'm not married, no girlfriend, no anything. So he's like, man, you chose the right path in life. I'm telling you, you're just doing it right. And I was like, if you would have stopped there, it's fine. But he went for about an hour and a half about this community that he's a part of that demands to be single. And
where was he from? Was it California or something? Or?
He was from Sacramento, but lives in New
Well,
Hampshire.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, indeed. Yeah, Sacramento. Watch out for those guys. But this was in Prague, and I was going to just hang out in the room, get some work done, since my work lets me work and travel a little bit on the side.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because I found that very nice too. Like, a lot of an excuse for a lot of people not to travel is, well, because my job doesn't let me, or I only get 2 weeks off a year. And but you somehow made it work. And how did you do that?
It was just kind of putting yourself out there. I mean, and people go by the rules and they're like, well, there's no way I can do it. And I mean, sometimes you have to take a risk. Like, I was prepared to be like, all right, so you don't want me to work here anymore. That's fine, because one of my dreams is going to Australia. I mean, I love everyone I work with, but at the same time, it's like, if I die tomorrow, I'm going to be pretty pissed off at myself. I never went to Australia.
What was it about Australia that you wanted to travel to so much?
Oh, man, this is a great story.
Take another sip.
Shout out to this beer. I don't know what it is.
It's Kaap's something. It's a brewery here from Rotterdam, and we're sitting in on the south side of the river right now. It's a beautiful evening, having a couple beers, just having a chat.
And Dick didn't even tell me what a great landscape this was, so I could fly my drone out here and get shots while we do this podcast. That would have been great.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sorry, man. I just forgot about it.
It's fine. At least we're going to put out a podcast with 1 million+ downloads.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing less.
Yeah.
The first time I ever wanted to travel to Australia was when I was 13.
Okay.
13, 14. I'm trying to think of that summer. I think 14. And I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And if anyone listening knows exactly where that is, which is probably slim to none, it's big for high school kids to go on vacation and get a beach house and just, read books and go to the library all week long and not partake in any partying whatsoever.
Right.
So
it's a very decent kind of place.
Absolutely. Right? High-class citizens, helping elderly women across the street, push the wheelchairs, charity. That's what we're about. But we were down there for a week, and there were some Australian girls in a car that just drove by our beach house yelling at the top of their lungs. And at 14, I mean, we didn't have any experience with women. So as soon as they were yelling at us, we're like, hey, all systems go. Let's do this. And they're like, hey, do you have beer? Hey, we had anything you asked for at that time.
How old were you when you were there?
I was 14.
Okay. You had beer? That's a lot, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, I had a couple buddies that were 18 at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drinking age 21, though?
Yeah, absolutely. Drinking age is 21 in America. That is one of the few things America, not so great at. But, yeah, so they came over. We started drinking, having a good time, the whole same song and dance. And then we decided to go swimming in the ocean, which, I mean, what's our beach house right there on the ocean front. So, I mean, 2-minute walk, if that. So as soon as we get to the ocean, it's like, all right, we're in our swimming trunks. We're about to go swimming. They had other plans. They take off all their clothes and jump straight in the water.
Oh, man. That must have blown your mind.
Absolutely. So this is the first time I ever went skinny dipping with anyone, much less, I mean, Australian girls. So that left a pretty good first impression. So,
and they were all good looking, I assume?
Absolutely. Jesus. I want to go back to that time right now. Or just go back to Australia in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as that happened, I just looked at all my buddies like, we're going to Australia soon. It wasn't soon, but damn it, I went.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. We had a good time there. Australia is just awesome.
Absolutely. So if you want to call it a cultural experience, that's fine too. I saw topless women and it sold me.
Well, I think that's probably the reason why a lot of guys did a lot of great things and horrible things.
Yeah, right? The foundation of humanity was built upon women.
Yes, for sure. So 3 months in Australia, where did you go?
I started in Sydney, and I kind of had like a list of places I wanted to go to, just like by cities, and then a few activities I wanted to go to. Obviously, the Great Barrier Reef. I knew it was kind of in shit condition, so I needed to go, but I didn't exactly know how bad a condition it was. So,
what do you mean?
Because 93% of the Great Barrier Reef is bleached.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know what like reef bleaching is, as soon as, you know, like the big colorful reefs you see in Finding Nemo, and you're like, wow, I have to go there. That looks great. If it's bleached, you're not going to see that. It's the colorful reefs with like a...
Try to talk into the mic. Yeah.
Oh, it keeps going.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't have a studio. I don't have a studio yet, but...
The soundproof walls, let's get it going.
Yeah.
But, did you go to the Great Barrier Reef?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you see the actual colorful part or the bleached?
I saw the colorful part.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I found that out the hard way as soon as we got there, so... Unfortunately, that's what I saw. But the bleached part almost looked like your hands whenever they're in water. And they get really wrinkly. So it's almost like that dull type of white.
Okay.
But you could still tell it was different shades before. Which, I mean, it's still nice to see because it's so vast and it's out there. But at the same time, it's like, I want contrast. I want color. Like,
right.
So even though I went, I have to go back soon.
Yeah.
Just to see the actual part that you didn't.
Yeah, well, but you actually saw the bleach part, huh?
Yeah.
Where did you... From which town did you go out?
I was out of Cairns.
Oh, okay.
So
way up north.
Yeah. So for anyone else, it looks like Cairns, but if you ask an Australian, it is Cairns. Cairns. You went up north to Cairns, huh?
Northeast, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that with Sundays, and it was just, mind-blowingly gorgeous. It was...
I can see how it's gorgeous, but I had... such a bad time there.
Really?
Well, it was a good time. It was just the weather did not cooperate whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
I went on a 3-day boat tour. It rained every day.
Okay, yeah.
The one day it was supposed to sunshine. We woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and hiked up to that small mountain where kind of like it divides. Yeah, I'm using my hands and everyone at home can see this. But at least you can see it, Dick.
Yeah.
But
I know what you're talking about. That's
and then it just started.
If you're listening, fuck you. We don't care about you. Like,
not interested in your feelings. We feel great. But yeah, the bottom flew out and man, it just started raining.
Okay.
So I was like, this is another place I gotta go back to.
Oh, that's a bummer, man. Yeah.
Such a bummer going back to Australia, right?
Yeah.
Hard life I'm living.
Which was your favorite place of your Australian trip?
Sydney.
Sydney?
Not even close.
Really? Why is that?
Leaps and bounds.
Because I like Sydney. It's a cool city. It's a beautiful city. It's clean. It's nice. It's definitely one of the better cities I've been in. But I don't know. I think it'd make my top 3, to be honest. If you look at all the small towns with all the surfing and You know, like the little coasty beach towns and.
Oh, the coasty beach towns are great. I can't name a city that I had a bad time in Australia.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
So
Brisbane is really nice too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I had better times in some cities more than others, but I was never in a city where I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Other than a train station at Townsville.
Yeah, Townsville, Queensland. Yeah, that's the little town next to, or like the town on the coast in Magnetic Island is off the coast there. That's where I lived for 6 months. Yeah.
No, Magnetic Island was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm jealous you got to live there for 6 months and I did not.
And it was literally a dream come true. Like I always wanted to be a bartender on a tropical island, and I got to check that off my bucket list.
That's not only that, but you got paid great wages. Like
yeah. Like if I would have a big roster in a week, I could make more than $1,000 a week pouring beer.
that is unbelievable.
And my rent was $150 a week, groceries, and I would just buy stuff in bulk and kind of look for the discounts and throw it in the freezer, you know. But maybe groceries a week, another 150, maybe 200.
That's what I love about Australia, because like the travel circuit, every hostel's so similar with the kitchen setup, and you can buy a lot of food, cook it, kind of keep your cost really low.
Yeah, if you want to, you can make it expensive easily.
Oh,
if you like to drink, it's expensive.
That's one of the sad things about Australia.
Yeah, a pint of beer, and even the shitty beer there. They have good beers there, but also just a lot of like watery, shitty, gross beer. I mean, have you ever tried Carlton Draft?
Yes.
Horrible.
It's terrible.
Horrible. The most horrible beer I've ever had. Carlton Dry is alright. It kind of reminds me of Corona. Corona. But Carlton Draft is yeah.
I will say it's a little bit better than a Keystone Light and a Natty Light from the States.
I've had Keystone, and I like Keystone better.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Carlton Draft is the most horrible shit I've ever drank.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
Keystone it smells bad. It tastes like rotten rat piss.
Okay. Yeah. But then again, even like the shitty beer is like $10 a pint.
Yeah. And the liquor drinks are way worse.
Is it? Yeah.
It's just because they don't do free pours.
No, true, yeah. They measure everything.
They measure it out to the very top, and they don't give you an ounce above it.
Oh, no. No, because they can get huge fines for that.
Yeah. I think I saw 2 places in Australia that did free pours, and I made sure to tip them very well. And I was taking care of the rest of the night.
Right. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, that's... but I've worked in bars there, and I had to do some training for it, and... The laws there are extremely strict for bars.
Yeah, it's all because of a couple of assholes that ruined it in Sydney.
Yeah, well, in Sydney too, like they take a picture of you, they take a copy of your ID, and then you're in a database. And if you start a fight in the bar or get thrown out, you get a little flag in the database, and you're just banned automatically from pretty much every single bar that has that system.
Really, they do that.
Yeah.
Now, I remember they used to take pictures of us standing in line, and like you would stand there, they would scan the photo, they'd put in your ID to make sure everything went well.
Yeah, no, they apparently obviously if that they've seen just had big problems with people getting drunk and too rowdy and starting trouble. And in Brisbane, I've seen almost every weekend I saw people almost getting hit by cars because you just stumbled into the street.
Yeah.
And
a week into my stay in Sydney, I flew into Sydney, so my very first week there, a guy was riding his bike right in front of my hostel. Side note, if anyone goes to Sydney, Australia, bounce Sydney. Absolutely stay there.
Bounce, the hostel.
Bounce Sydney. It's so great. But someone was riding a bike right outside, and a car hit him, and...
Was this at night?
No, it was clear as day, 2 p.m.
Okay.
A guy that I met in the hostel saw it, He had to perform CPR on him, and the guy did not make it.
Oh, shit.
He literally saw someone die.
That's horrible.
No, it's terrible. So we're laughing about it.
What does it have to do with drinking, though? Like what we're talking about. Like where does this fit into the context? Like that's why it's funny.
No, good. You said someone walked out across the road.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I mean, they were riding their bike across the road.
Oh, dude. Oh, man, but
Possibly drinking and driving, to be continued.
maybe. Yeah, who knows? Well, I don't think we get to ask him because he's dead.
But it would be fair to ask.
Yes. Let's see what I think he pleads the fifth. But what?
No comment.
What made Sydney so great in particular for you?
Sydney was fucking magical. Not only a great city, just magical.
But why?
Just so many things I like out of a city, and traveling mixed with the people I met. So I mean, you can be in a great city and meet shitty people, and it might leave a bad taste in your mouth. And you're like, it's nothing the city did. It's just the experience I had.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like I've been in a few good cities in Europe. Just the people I met, I'm like, no, not happening. I wish I was here with like 3 or 4 of my buddies, and it would be great. But as far as Sydney, man, like some of my favorite cities are like San Diego, like we discussed before the podcast, like New York City, and it's also a mixture of a place near home called Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
Because Sydney has...
I think Charleston actually makes it like the top 20 of best cities to live in the U.S. or something.
Yeah, it's made a bunch of lists lately because it's booming, but at the same time, like it's growing, but it's not like, hey, 5-10 million people live here, so it's never crowded.
Okay, that's always nice.
But it's a beach town. The downtown life isn't packed, but it's always lively.
Okay.
It's not like a nightclub type of scene where you're paying $50 to get in.
Yeah.
But all the bars are full.
Okay.
So worst case scenario, you're paying $5 to $10 entry.
Okay.
Maybe 20 on like a holiday weekend. So. But yeah, just Sydney is a mixture of everything. Like, I mean, the bridge, and the Opera House. That area is incredible.
It is, yeah.
So, but you can go on a boat on the harbor. You can take the public transit to Bondi Beach, Coogee Beach.
Those places are cool too.
Yeah.
Like there's a skate park there, and there's the surf is there, so the beach. You can watch people surf, and it's just a lovely, great place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a touristy place, but at the same time, it's still really nice.
Touristy for a reason. Yeah.
Oh, 100%, because you should absolutely go. And then you have the beach, you have the harbor you can take your boat out on. There's a casino on the harbor.
Yeah.
I mean, I love playing poker and gambling, so I mean, the casino right there just topped it off. Like, this is terrific.
Did you actually go there too, or
Yeah, and
you win anything?
I think I love playing poker. I didn't play poker though. I just played some. All right, the slot machines, Australians call pokies.
Pokies, yeah, that's right.
So they're like, we're going to the pokies tonight.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I mean, Australians simplify everything, so that's great.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Pokies, let me get another example.
Brekkie. Breakfast is brekkie.
Yeah. Yeah, brekkie. And, yeah. I any other situation, I could name you like 10 things.
Yeah, right.
I'm just drawing a
Meet you in the Arvo.
What?
Meet you in the Arvo.
What is that?
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Yeah, Avo. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how direct they are, because like I would order fast food sometimes. I've never heard the phrase before, but this one lady was like, "How you going? What are you after?" Like, I've heard how are you going, but what am I after? Like that's a little forceful. What am I after? I'm after some fucking food.
Yeah, like what the fuck do you want?
yeah. Which I love the bluntness of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Australians, they don't fuck around. Like they're just as friendly as they can be. And
I've never met a bad Australian.
No.
Maybe one that snores too loud, but whatever. We've all had drunk nights, so I get it.
Yeah. They're ultimately even like the rougher types. They're just good.
The
people.
Bogans.
Yeah, the Bogans. That's episode 2 of this podcast, actually. Like, I talked with a bunch of Aussies, hung out with them for 6 hours, recorded everything, just random shit. And I had to cut it down to, ended up with almost 2 hours, which is still pretty good.
That's still a lot to cut down.
And oh yeah, dude. Like,
Editing room, man.
It took me half a week to finish that bitch. But
And when you have 6 hours of gold, I mean.
Yeah, they're just funny dudes, man. And yeah, just the greatest. Yeah, they're the greatest.
After drinking in their country, I know exactly why they're alcoholics everywhere they go.
Yeah.
The price of booze, it's unbelievable.
It is, yeah.
Like you touched on, what, $8 to $10 a pint? Like, come on.
Right. Well, even if you buy beer in the store, like if I'd get a 6-pack, $30.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. That's.
I just assumed it was like.
It doesn't help though. I mean, it doesn't stop them from drinking a lot.
They drink a lot.
Yes.
That is no disrespect meant whatsoever.
Oh no, I love it. It's awesome.
More times than none, I do mean disrespect, but this time, no. I love me some Aussies, and if I think I know why the alcohol is so expensive.
Why?
Because if it was a regular price, the whole fucking world would move there. There's no other excuse.
That's actually a very good point. Yeah, I'm
gonna roll with that theory.
If they had good, and they do have good beer. They have great wine too, and
Goon.
No. I'm not talking about Goon. That's
for everyone that doesn't know what Goon is.
Yeah,
it is a traveler's budget wine, which isn't even wine. It's made from fish guts.
Oh, they filter it through fish guts.
They filter it through fish guts. And
yeah, I think like the vineyards, they have like whatever they have left over, what they normally would any vineyard would just throw away.
Yeah,
they just store it and filter it through fish guts.
So you're drinking the bottom of the barrel piss on top of fish guts.
It actually says on the box that it contains fish.
Yeah.
Like,
as soon as you drink it and you go to the bathroom, you smell fish, and it's the weirdest thing ever.
It is. Yeah.
So I bet girls are really confused whenever they go to the bathroom and they're like, I am not going to hook up with this guy whatsoever.
Dude, yeah, but
things are getting a little fishy.
But I've seen people mixing it with Sprite.
Yes,
and then it's
barely helps.
And it's kind of sort of drinkable because Sprite is such a
like sugary drink.
Yeah, like it hides the horribleness of it pretty well.
But you could pour bleach with Goon and it doesn't help.
and Goon will probably be worse for you than the bleach.
Yeah,
I mean I've had some nightmare hangovers from that shit, even after just having like 3 glasses or something. It's the worst.
I was gonna say the same. Like, there have been nights where I didn't even get drunk off a Goon and I had a hangover. It instills the worst hangover of your life.
Yeah. Well, that should tell you something, you know.
I mean, I know when they really mean quality over quantity. They never lied with Goon.
Yeah.
They might have meant that with like choosing your partner, but no, this applies to Goon. Get a quality wine, people.
Yeah, stay away from Goon, please, and just try it once so you know how terrible it is.
It's what, $10 for a big box?
4 liters, like
4 liters,
almost a gallon. Yeah,
there's a reason why. You could even get some for $7.
Really, that's cheaper than a pint of beer. A pint of shitty beer. Like,
give me shitty beer all day over that. Yeah. I'm not even a huge beer drinker, but yeah, give me that all day long over Goon.
Yeah, Goon. But when you're in hostels, people drink it all the time. I think, well, because it's cheap, I think that's kind of the hostel vibe too. There's a lot of, like kids, like their early 20s or something. They just want to get drunk. It doesn't matter how. So
I've been desperate to get drunk before, but never. I'm going to drink a gallon of Goon.
Yeah, I can.
That's next level desperation.
I can honestly say it's the worst thing I've ever drank. Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of worst things I've ever drank in my life.
Well, no, that's actually a lie. Like there's
Cambodian goat semen.
I haven't drank that, but I'm pretty sure that's horrible too. Now I'm thinking about there's this Swedish drink, or this drink that started in Sweden, and then the guy, like some guy who drank it moved to Chicago and started making it. And the Swedes don't make it anymore because it's so horrible. But they still make it in Chicago. I forget the name of it. It's
so damn cold in the winter. They don't have shit to do else.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what it is, what it's called, but I'll have to look it up, put it in the show notes. But that's I mean, there's videos on YouTube of people drinking it for the first time, and
what's it called?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It'll come to me maybe later.
Yeah,
I can't remember right now, but it kind of looks like Jägermeister, but it's bitter and it's everything about it is just terrible. And even on the label it says we made this drink that's very intense and very horrible. Like they kind of admit on the label that
if you drink this, you will die.
Yeah.
We are not responsible for this. You're responsible for purchasing this alcohol.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah. Damn, I'm annoyed now that I can't come up with it. But yeah. Anyway, so Sydney, that was your favorite place. Was it? Do you think it had to do with that was your first stop there, or?
At first, that's what I thought, and then I was just like, I have to see more cities, because originally I booked 10 days in Sydney, and then I was going to travel up the coast. 6 weeks later, I'm in Sydney still.
What was the one thing that kept you there? Like, I liked Sydney. I was there for like 3 weeks, but that was more than enough for me, to be honest. Yeah.
I could see how people lean more towards Melbourne.
Never been there. No.
Really?
No.
Because everyone you meet is like, are you Sydney or are you Melbourne?
Yeah, true.
But if you meet Australians, it's Melbourne. Yeah, Melbourne, Cairns.
But then again, I hung out with a bunch of surfer dudes too, and they were like, "Yeah, you're talking about Sydney. I call it Shitney."
Yeah, they say Shitney.
Yeah.
I'd say the alcohol laws are Shitney, but other than that,
a lot of people hate it too for some reason.
Yeah. Which, like, they're either Team Sydney or Melbourne. I like both places. I just absolutely love Sydney, but it's just a place I could see myself living in. It's a big city, but it's not. In my opinion, it's not overly massive. I think 3 or 4 million people live there, and it's really spread out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the suburbs are still part of Sydney.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's just so much to do. It's so easy to get around. Their public transit system is unbelievable.
It's very good. Yeah.
Because they have a light rail, a bus.
And the bus is free, too, in the city center, I think.
On Sunday.
Okay.
Or no, Sunday you pay one price, and then you pay for one ride, then you ride free the whole day.
Oh, okay.
So that's why a lot of people would go out to the Blue Mountains, which is a 2-hour ride.
That's a gorgeous nature park.
Oh, it's great. And between that and a ferry, so you have like that, those 4 lines all into one, and it's really easy to get around. Because I've been to some places, I'm like, this public transit system just does not make any sense. This is garbage. But no, I loved it there. I mean, the people I met there was just an added bonus on top.
Yeah. I mean, it's Australia. People are just generally cool.
Yeah.
So after Sydney, you went up. What was the next stop?
That was when I met you on the local tour.
Right.
What was the first stop?
I think it was it like the mountain place, Barrington Tops?
I think that was the first night, but the first place was that wine tasting place we went to.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny you bring that up because I backed up my phone the other day, and like Australia pictures randomly popped up on my phone. Like, I haven't backed up at home, but I don't know why they showed up on my phone. And I started looking through some of those, and I was like, wow. Yeah, we tried those. Yeah,
the wine tasting place. Then we'll have to look at that name up too. There was like a
because it was pretty famous, but
it was they even had concerts there with the Rolling Stones and all that.
As soon as they said that, I was like, all right, this place might be legit.
Yeah,
I was
We're hearing a boat in the background now. The water taxi of Rotterdam.
That's our personal butler.
Yes. He's bringing the caviar in a second.
They better bring the snails.
This isn't France, man.
What kind of butler is this? But yeah, I met an Australian girl, and I was telling her about the wine experience, and she's like, well, you need to go to this place. And it turns out it was the exact same wine, and like she was talking up big time.
Right. Well, I remember the wine being very, very good. I bought a $50 bottle there and carried it around my little backpack for like a month or something.
Really?
And then
did not drink it before a month.
No. I made sure to find the right place, the right time, and like a romantic sunset to share it with the right person.
And you didn't even save it until now. We have a beautiful sunset. It's romantic.
Oh, dude.
I like to think I'm a nice person. Every other time, sometimes 60% of the time. You thought about that for a second, didn't you?
Oh, dude. That's not like weird, man.
Dick is holding my hand right now.
Yes.
Play with my hair while you're at it. Is this how you treat every guest? Now I'm really starting to feel violated. I thought I was special.
Well, we might have the first fist fight live on a podcast.
We're going to fight into the death to see who's the spoon. So we went to Barrington Tops.
Yeah, that was the next stop.
Barrington Tops had the greatest hot tub.
Yeah, with the best view.
Top 5 all time hot tubs I've ever been.
Same.
All right, maybe top 3.
Probably the best one I've ever been in, to be honest.
For the views, yes.
Yeah.
Only it's not number 1 because there were a couple of attractive women, but not really.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if I'm in a hot tub with 2 women, that's the number 1.
Yes. Well, we're in a hot tub. In that hot tub, there were 20 people in there or something.
At least 20 people. Wow.
Yeah.
And whenever we ordered those beers, and like he made it out like it was free, and all of a sudden he's keeping like a tally on like the dry board.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you had how many? Like I could have just said, yeah, my name's Chris. Chris, why did you have 36 beers last night? I didn't drink.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Like the bus dropped us off at this like tiny little town. There was basically one street. Like the bus actually drove through a pretty off-roady patch. I remember. Like the road.
Are you talking about getting uphill?
Yeah. It was very off-road. I was surprised that the bus actually made it up there.
Yeah, because
at one point we just kind of went into the wilderness, sort of, and it was just very rocky. And I was like, well, is this little bus designed to drive this kind of road?
Yeah, for a while there, I thought we weren't going to make it. Like this was it.
Yeah.
Like I have international service no matter where I go, and for the longest time, it didn't even read E. Like for emergency, it just had no service.
Yeah, no, I mean we were in the middle of nowhere,
and I'm thinking we break down. No, we're done. This is it. It's been fun.
The dingoes are gonna eat us.
The fucking dingoes.
But yeah, this was this little like wooden cabin in the mountains, and
then the place we went tubing at.
Yeah, that was cool too, man.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Did we have to sign something that we like promised we're not going to sue them or something? Because that seemed pretty dangerous and sketchy every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which made it great, by the way. I had so much fun there. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, for everyone, to sum up that day, we went up a large hill in the middle of nowhere, went to a cabin retreat with a sweet hot tub overlooking the wilderness.
Yeah, and the view from this hot tub was just absolutely mind-blowing. It was just...
That's a picture you should upload to this as well.
Yes, yeah. And you could order a beer while you're sitting in this tub, and you're just among good friends, good people.
And the beers were after we went tubing down this river.
Yeah.
Which... It wasn't a lazy river, but it wasn't like white water rafting. But at the same time, like we were going over rocks, and that's why we had to get a waiver signed saying, "Hey, if you die and if you drown, if you don't know how to swim, sorry, not sorry. Fuck off. You should have learned how to swim before." So we signed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was worth it, man. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, well, so much fun.
Yeah. And a couple of scrapes and bruises never killed somebody. Yeah, and just and while you're just lounging in the tube, you're in this just gorgeous river. You know, it's almost like it kind of reminded me of the Jungle Book in a way.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. The Jungle Book.
Yeah, like Mowgli floating down the river with the bear.
I mean, the trees hung over, but I don't know, maybe in like the Amazon, but it was still pretty close.
Yeah, yeah.
It was such a surreal feeling. Not because, I mean, no one knows where the hell it is. Fuck, we don't even know where that is.
Well, I can look it up. But it's still somewhere in my notes from when I kept sort of a diary while I was there. So,
but the surreal feeling just came from like not only are we in a foreign country, like for me, I'm 10,000 miles away from home.
Right.
On top of that, I'm in the middle of the woods. On top of that, I'm floating down a river. On top of that, I'm never going to be here again.
Yeah.
The chances of me going there are very slim to none.
True.
We can go back to Australia, but we're never going back to that same place. So just understanding that we have that memory in that place, I don't know, it's really cool. Like going to one place, one shot, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true for traveling in general. Usually, that's why it's so exciting, because you know it's going to be the only time you're probably going to be there.
It's a numbers game. It's more than likely.
Yeah,
it's just like the people at home that I'll go there one day. I'll go there next year.
Yeah,
I'm going to go there in 5 years whenever I get my bonus and I get this raise and this and this and this and 56 different things have to happen for you to finally go out of the country. It's not going to happen for you.
Right.
You're not going to pull the trigger. You're not going to jump off that ledge.
Yeah.
And that's why I like, even though if I don't get along with everyone I travel with, we still have something in common. And it's jumping off the ledge, traveling, going to see things we never thought we would see before.
Yeah.
Because, like, even from back home, like, some of my best friends, I get along with all of them, but I could say, I want to go to Montenegro in Europe. And the first thing they would say is, where the hell is that? Why the hell would you go? You're going to fucking die. But then I could ask someone like you, I want to go to Montenegro. And you would either be like, I'm interested, or that sounds fun. How long are you going for?
Right.
And it's just the travel mentality.
It is. But it's a good thing to have, because it's so exciting, you know, because everything is new. Everything, you just don't really know what to expect. With the internet now, it's easy to find all the pictures, and you can even find movie clips of places. But just being there and feeling the vibe and actually like talking to people. Absolutely.
That's what I love. Just even right now, like technically, we're not doing too much. We're sitting down in Rotterdam.
Talking a bunch of shit.
Talking shit. But at the same time, this is everything. Because if you keep walking around the city, you're going to experience it, but it's always more fun experiencing it with fun people.
Oh, well, thanks for that, man.
I mean, we're still holding hands from earlier in this podcast. Dick has never let go of my hand. I've been trying to leave this whole time. Why else do you think I have this microphone in my right hand? Excuse me.
Yeah, well.
Dick is laughing because he can laugh while still holding my hand in his spine. But it's always nice talking to other travel-minded people.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and that's very true what you said earlier. Like, even if you don't necessarily get along with them, or they're not your type of guy or whatever type of gal, you still have that one thing in common.
Yeah.
And, and that's why when I go to a hostel, I always pick the big rooms. I don't see the point in getting especially if you're traveling alone, which is a great experience in itself anyway. It's the easiest way to make friends.
It's easy to make friends, and depends on where you stay, it's hard to make friends.
Okay.
But
depends on your character too, though.
Yeah, a lot. But I think it's the best way to travel.
Okay.
Because even though we could go on a 2-month trip tomorrow. We could agree on 80% of the places we want to go. We're still going to disagree on the other places to go, which parts of the city we want to see at different times.
Yeah.
Like, there are times, like, right now I'm on a 3.5-month Europe trip, and I have exactly 6 days left. So right now I'm towards the point where I don't care to see much. I'd like to walk around the city and just hang out. But the first couple of weeks, like, when I flew into Paris from Atlanta.
Yeah, tell me about your Euro trip as well. Like, what did that? Where did that come from? You it was the first time for you to go to Europe as well.
Well, I hit the $450 billion lottery, so I thought this would be the best place to go. No, I just Europe was next on my list. To put it this way, this is how much I loved Australia. I almost went back to Australia rather than seeing a continent I've never been to before. So but I realized I wanted to.
You're gonna love episode number 2 of this show, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't press click if you keep holding my hand. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I realized I'd like to live and work in Australia rather than just go there for 3 months. So I was like, all right, let's go travel Europe.
This is possible to get a visa. I think you can.
You can, but it's a lot harder now than it was a few years ago.
Okay.
So I flew into Paris, and like the first week, I stayed in Paris for a week, and every day I was doing this, I was doing that. And I was like, I'm wasting time. I gotta go.
Yeah.
But 3 months in, you get mentally exhausted, and it's the same conversations in hostels you want to avoid. Hey, what are you doing? What's your name?
Where are you from?
Exactly. Where are you from? Ryan, the States. How long are you traveling? 3.5 months. Oh, cool. How do you do that? I don't know. I got lucky. I don't know. I work hard. I have no answers for you. In 2 more minutes, you're going to be out the door. We're not going to hang out. We're not going to go drinking together. We're good.
Right.
So this is completely different as the first couple of weeks. And like, oh my God, we should all go out and have the greatest night of our lives.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fine. And I'm that social person. However, just 3 months in, like we talked about before the podcast, whenever you're traveling, every day is Friday.
Yeah. True. It gets...
And you need a break.
Being in hostels is a lot of fun. It's a very social place. And most of the time, the people you're in the hostel with, it's the first time they're in the city, and most people just stay for a couple of days. So, and everyone's always in party mood and drinking mood, and and that's great. But if you're traveling long term,
it's you literally have to balance.
You out.
Absolutely, you have to balance out your regular life. Because think about it, 3.5 months is not a weekend. Like, looking from the outside in, it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not drinking every night. You don't want to drink every night. You need nights and days by yourself. Like, just leave me. I love everyone around me. Just leave me alone, please. This bed right here, I know it's 3 p.m. I'm going to stay here all day. There's nothing I'm going to do. So even though, like, there are some cities where people would die to go there, which even though you're mentally fatigued, at the same time, you feel kind of guilty because some people want to go there their whole lives, never do. And you're just in a city sitting by yourself like, I need to catch up.
Right.
Like, that's how I felt in Barcelona, or as the locals would say, Barcelona. The Catalonian Spanish.
Yeah.
Because
beautiful women there, too.
Absolutely. Spanish women in general.
I hear you.
If they just put down the cigarettes, it would be great.
Well, in a way, it's kind of sexy, I think.
Oh, man. Better you than me.
Oh, never stop me.
It won't stop me either. However, if we have a preference.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I hear you.
Because
I smoked for a while too. I'm glad I don't anymore. It's so dumb and so gross.
Yeah. I quit 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
So, like, just for cities such as Barcelona, I could have seen a lot more, but it's just the point in my travels, a little less than 3 months when I was there. I had to take it easy. I needed to see 1 or 2 things a day. rather than having, all right, I'm getting up at 8 a.m. and I'm going to stay out until 11 p.m., which I would do in some cities that I'm super, super interested in, like early in my travels. But it sounds weird, but it really does beat on you after a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's you get used to everything eventually, including traveling and amazing things.
Yes.
It's and it does sound weird, especially if you're listening to this while you're sitting in your car in traffic or
Exactly.
Like, hey man, like I'm tired of seeing amazing things, but
And it's such a weird thing because you're tired of it, but at the same time,
you can help but feel. Yeah, and
I've never taken it for granted. Like I've recognized the whole time, like what I'm doing, where I'm at, and like what's around me.
You were in the moment, so to speak. Yeah, that's important.
Rather than just taking it like, I can do this tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow, the day after.
Yeah. Well, if you have that mentality, I don't think you'd pick up traveling in the first place.
Absolutely, you wouldn't even be there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people, a lot of people put off traveling because like, I'll do it when I have this amount of money. I'll have it
when I retire.
Yeah, and then you're old. You know, I want to travel when I'm retired too.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd love to retire next year if I can, but
better start rolling in them dollars.
Yeah, well, people need to download the shit so I can get a good sponsor, and like.
What would be a good sponsor for you?
That's a good question.
What's your target market?
That's a good question, man. Like probably people who just want to travel, or people who are interested in. You
know what you should do? You should go to that. You should record every podcast on this bench. You should go inside and get that beer place to sponsor you, where you can open, close, and even have like a middle portion where you run an ad about them.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
You're right. Yeah. Free beer, good ads. Let's do this.
Oh, you can buy
I'd be
a
in
house.
Rotterdam every week.
You can't buy a house or a car with beer, though. I think.
But beer ads.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah.
And the beer ads are worth millions.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
for the podcast, maybe not right now, but hey, give us some time.
Yeah, people just need to listen and subscribe and all that, man. Like, yeah,
we're gonna push this issue.
Yes,
man. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Well,
Joe Rogan Experience. Don't know who you are. Dick is around now.
Yeah, bitch, get out the way. You'll be lucky if you're a guest on my show someday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, well, episode number 8. That's not bad, though. I mean, that's you can say I'm slowly getting something going. I mean,
the hardest part is the start.
Yes, for sure. And
as soon as the ball gets rolling,
first 3 or 4 episodes were kind of, it's awkward at first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're walking up to people saying, "Hey, I'd like to interview you. You want to talk to me, and we'll record it." And people think that's an unusual question, So
it's weird because I'm a fan of unusual, which I don't think it is unusual. Hey, let's do a podcast, because I listen to podcasts all the time.
Right.
It's a lot easier than audiobooks. I mean, audiobooks are great, and I listen to them all the time. But podcasts are just, you press play. It's rarely that you rewind. Let me let that sink in. It's more of a conversation.
It is, yeah.
Like, we're not using massive words and deep introspective perspectives where it's like, oh my God, what is going on? Or maybe we need LSD for that. But
I've had that happening, though, in a couple of previous episodes. Like, I talked to one guy who was just way out there, and it was awesome. And it was a two-part show, actually. Like,
that's the one where you had to cut into 2 hour and a half.
No. I cut plenty of that too, but
Mm-hmm.
no. Like, you're talking about episode 2 now, the episode called "Talking Shit with Real Aussies."
Talking shit with real Aussies.
And that was a 2-hour episode, and it was cut down from more than 6 hours. But it was great. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like, I hear you. Like, I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and I figured, well, I've heard so many interesting stories from people who've done just cool things with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Why not start recording it. And I talked to some interesting people so far. And
You told me the list of people you talked to, and then I was like, well, I'll do it. However, what is it, like Army Beret or Navy SEAL that you talked to?
No, I wasn't a Navy SEAL. He was ex-military.
All right.
And he had actually fought in Afghanistan.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the troops. Thank you.
Yeah, same here. I have nothing but respect for you guys. You guys are God among men, like they say. Right? Is that the right phrase?
No, I was just staring into space thinking about all the stories I've heard about U.S. soldiers fucking Afghani women. Which is incredible. They're giving back to the community.
Yeah. This guy was from New Zealand, and he worked together with the U.S. military to sort things out. And
Hey, if we're not careful, we're about to go back into war, baby.
fucking North Korea, man, shit. That's I hope.
We got our finger on the button, just saying, "Wait, we gonna do it? Don't make us."
Yeah, I hope not, man.
I would rather not, but push comes to shove, we'll do the dirty work.
Yeah. Well, that's like.
Did you hear about the latest threat against Guam?
Yeah,
That is incredible.
it is. Yeah, I mean,
Out of all places, we're gonna bomb Guam.
yeah. Why? I don't understand it. Like, it's why?
I think that just shows, like,
How insane they are.
well, not only insane, but if they were really insane, they would be like, "We're bombing New York tomorrow."
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what they bomb. If they bomb anything that's even remotely like a part of the U.S. or linked to the U.S. or whatever, they're going to be a parking lot in a week.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I always liked to think that North Korea, they're crazy, but they're not that stupid. If you're,
I don't know.
if you're like fucking with, like one club you don't want to fuck with, that's America ultimately.
Yeah, because it's funny because how many people talk about why do we spend so much on military, and like if we weren't doing it, there would be a different number one. Somebody else would do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are number one.
Somebody else would be spending the most on the military.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys are number one and not China or whatever.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
We gotta worry about China now.
Oh yeah. Well, like the entire world does.
The country and the tourists.
The tourists.
The tourists travel. The tourists are like pigeons over here.
Everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Australia, like they're buying all the real estate in Australia and just taking over
In New York too.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought they would have earned so much money from sweatshops and illegal working camps that they could have bought real estate in New York?
And actually, Africa too. Like a lot of the modern roads there and new buildings and everything. They're
Well,
built.
fucking take over Africa and give them some water. They're fucking starving. Jesus. How selfish can the Chinese be if they're buying up Africa but not giving them water? That is unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's interesting times we live in, man. That's for sure.
You're telling me.
It's yeah. I just hope someone within North Korea just kills him or whatever. Like I think that would be the best solution.
They need a big fucking shot of democracy and freedom. Holy shit. Like when you have a leader that murders, like we talked about the other day off the podcast, we talked about the North Korean leader, you wouldn't call it assassinate, but murdering his uncle with, was it artillery shell or the guard dogs? Which one was it?
No, it was he executed him with anti-aircraft guns.
Which is unbelievable. Not only would you waste that many resources, it's your own uncle because maybe he didn't agree with you.
Yeah.
You have a loose cannon like that running a country? Hashtag Trump.
I'm not going to comment on that, man. Like that, let's not get into politics too much. I mean, yeah. I mean that turns into that will turn it into a whole different kind of show.
Very true. But speaking of North Korea, you went to North Korea.
Yeah, I actually did. Yeah.
And you didn't overthrow the government.
Well,
Or did you?
Well, I mean, the Dutch, we have a history of taking over shit and conquering shit, and we're colonizing a bunch of countries. But I don't think there's a lot for us in North Korea, man.
That place is bare.
Yeah, it's
or what the people see is they see big bright lights. It's nice.
Not really, man. Like
2 streets over, people are starving. There's no electricity.
Yeah.
The grocery stores are bare.
Well, it was... I just visited the border. I didn't actually go into the country very much.
Would you have gone into the country? Obviously not right now because things are nuts.
Yeah.
But like
back then,
a couple years ago.
Back then there was a heightened threat level too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's always just a crazy place. I mean, tourists have gotten killed in the past, and when we signed up for this, we had to sign a waiver that said, I know I'm going to enter an active war zone right now.
Which is insane because they've been at war for
60 years or something.
60 years.
And they just have a ceasefire. And then, if I
just
get
waiting
killed,
for that to break.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might happen soon. I hope it ends in a different way. But anyway, like, we had to sign a waiver that said, I know I'm entering an active war zone. I might get hurt. I might get killed, and it's going to be my own fault because I choose to go in there. And we went into a tour bus with military escort. We had to hand in our passports actually by going there.
That's sketchy.
Yeah, and they gave us very strict rules. Only if you're going to take photos, only take photos towards the north. Because if you take photos towards the south and they end up on the internet, they can use that as intelligence against us if they ever make it across the border. So they were very, very strict instructions. And
so you could stand on South Korea, but take pictures of the north.
Yeah, you can only point your camera towards North Korea.
Which is... I feel like that's incredible because the people that have got arrested in the past have like tried to steal posters from the north, which basically means they're trying to overthrow the government.
No, but
which I thought it'd be the other way.
This was more about them getting intelligence about the military operation on the south side. Mm-hmm. So, I went there from the south, so yeah.
So of course they were like, "Hey, protect our interest.
Yeah,
we got you."
Yeah, exactly. And they also said when you're at the border, don't make sudden moves, don't make weird faces, don't flip them off, don't
make loud noises all of a sudden.
Exactly. Don't basically just and they were serious about it. It was like we were in this.
Don't let your ringtone go off.
But it was like a military guy, a serious, scary looking dude. Like saying, "Right, you're not gonna fuck around because." That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't do it, And everyone was very quiet when we were there, and
it's not a jovial place.
No, it's
to say the least.
It's not a joke. It's not a fun place to be. It's like once you're there, you see it, and you see it looks exactly like in the pictures. And when you're there, you basically just want to get out of there because it's just so tense and uncomfortable, and
yeah,
and there's you're just a couple of. There's a million cannons pointed at you right there, and you're surrounded in the.
You're just ready to get blown up at any given time.
Exactly, and
I'm so interested.
And at one point, we went out to near the Bridge of No Return, which is the bridge where they exchanged prisoners of war. Like it was also that James Bond movie with the horrible theme song with Madonna. What's the name of it? Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
Yeah, like that bridge where James Bond was exchanged upon. Like that's,
if James Bond was there, we have to go.
Yeah, like near that bridge, there was a guard tower, and the guy said that's North Korean guard tower. There's a soldier in there with a sniper rifle, and he's looking at us right now. So. Don't point at him. Don't make sudden moves. But
is his aim good?
That's a good question. And he probably has some like Russian rifle from 1860 or something.
Yeah, right.
But still, like the message was clear. Like don't fuck around. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. I'll never forget it. But I was glad I was the fuck out of there. It was very interesting.
There's a reason why they call it the Hermit Kingdom.
Hermit Kingdom.
Hermit Kingdom, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just everything's kept within.
Yes.
I mean, just like a hermit crab.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, then they come out.
I didn't know that.
But it's amazing how much they keep behind wraps, like all the concentration camps. And we know about it, but we don't know to what extent, or the labor camps, and it's awful.
Yeah, well, every now and then someone, I think one guy managed to escape from one and actually make it to South Korea, and he made a bunch of drawings of what it's like in those places.
Have you seen?
And if you look at those drawings, like those drawings are just, they're very simple drawings, just, but they're so haunting. And you can, if it's the stuff made of nightmares, man. It's.
Have you seen the people that flee North Korea that make it to South, and then like they take those big helium balloons and they fill it up with, it's not propaganda, it's the fucking truth that North Korea is full of shit, and like there's a free world, you should flee. And then the balloon goes to the North Korean side, eventually it pops, and then all the like propaganda falls out.
Right.
And then they realize, or because I mean they're trying to stop that, obviously, being part of a dictatorship.
Right. But
they don't want them to see the truth. But as soon as you have a balloon popping out with, because they have like the K-pop music, the movies,
South Korean pop music, and movies,
just and like different types of books. I mean, Lord forbid a North Korean read a book about the truth. That would be terrible.
Yeah, and there's also this initiative. Again, I don't know the name of it. I'll put it in the show notes. But you can donate your flash drives that you don't use.
Yes,
and
that's another thing.
You send it to them, and they load it up with just data about like, hey, there's another world out there, and then they smuggle it into North Korea, and so that people within the country are waking up to what they're a part of.
It's another world just right beside them.
Yeah.
It's almost just like you have no idea what's going on in your neighbor's house.
Kind of.
You walk outside and the sun's out. We're great. We're having a great day. You have no idea what the hell's going across the street.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, crazy stuff. Would you ever travel to North Korea? Well, not right now, because what's the name? Like the Otto Warmbier or something. Like that guy, that poor guy. He got killed there.
Yeah, Otto somebody.
Yeah,
because he went to the University of Virginia, I believe.
Okay.
Which is like 6 or 7 hours north of where I live, so it's still pretty much in the southeast. But would I go to North Korea?
Yeah, don't go there if you're from the U.S.
I will answer that after I go to the bathroom. These beers are going through.
If there's more, if they're still open, man, you can get another one for me. Light's still on, door still open. I don't know.
Let me take a look real quick.
All right, dude.
You can either talk shit about me or pause this.
Test.
And we back. Dick finally let go of my hand so I could use the restroom, which was pretty nice because I've been wanting to go for like 30 minutes. It was so bad. I went once, ordered beers, then went right back to the restroom.
You went twice?
Absolutely. I got a 2-for-1 special.
How much did you drink?
I drink a lot of water, man.
Okay.
Yeah, only a few beers, but a lot of water throughout the day.
Well, that's smart. That's a good, healthy thing to do anyway.
Trying to.
Well, that's one habit I brought back from Australia. I wouldn't leave the house without a bottle of water, like a big bottle, 1.5 liter bottle of water, because if you don't, you just dry out there. It's especially Perth. Perth is so dry.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the West Coast, so
if you you sweat a lot there because it's so goddamn hot, but I live in the South Side. I sweat as soon as I step outside for work. 2 seconds into the heat, like it's about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's close to 40.
Yeah, it's like 40, Celsius. 41 Celsius.
Yeah.
plus about 95% humidity. So
Well, that's the difference in Perth. It's very dry, so you sweat a lot, but the sweat evaporates right away.
Yeah.
And you just get dry skin, dry lips, dry mouth. It's very, very dry.
dry lips. Who are you kissing?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. It's just
Found a special someone out there.
oh, well.
Don't tell the fiance.
Yeah. Oh man,
Someone's in trouble.
this show is gonna ruin my life, man.
But you had a good time in Perth.
Oh man, it was awesome. It's just super. It's just super dry down there. It's yeah, but it's nice. I like the West Coast, especially south of Perth. You got Margaret River.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, lovely area with vineyards and breweries, and they got the Margaret River chocolate.
Is that the area
Company
with the pink lake?
I think. I
'Cause it-
think that's in Queensland, on the east coast.
I know there's I think there's a couple of pink ones on the East Coast, but there's one that's like super pink.
I haven't
I'll
been there.
have to look into my notes, but I think it was like 8 hours southeast, maybe, of Perth.
Could be.
Because it was on my list of to-do things while I was out there. And then I was looking in like how to get there. And I'm like, I'm going to have to spend hundreds of dollars just to get there from Perth. Not to mention spending money to fly to Perth. I was like, this has got to be on the second trip. There's no way.
I went to the one in Queensland from near the Whitsundays.
The Pink Lake?
Yeah, and it was shit. Don't go there.
Where exactly was it at?
It was somewhere close to Whitsundays, and
All right.
yeah, it was just not impressive at all. It was
Really?
yeah.
Because I tried going to one near Melbourne, and I think I missed it by a week.
Okay,
Because there's something with the temperature and everything outside that like makes the...
maybe the conditions weren't perfect, but I was just looking at it, and it just looked like a very plain-looking average lake. It was
Really?
yeah. It wasn't. It took almost two. It was a 2-hour detour to
Damn
go
you,
there.
Google. Just looking so fucking great on the internet. You mean there were filters for things that we look at online? No.
No, but yeah, no. That was one of the few disappointments I had there. It was.
What is your biggest disappointment in Australia?
Oh, that's a good question. I've rarely been disappointed in Australia, really.
Low expectations or just exceeded your expectations?
No, but there's just a lot to like there, man.
There's so much to like. It's unbelievable.
They have a little bit of everything.
Their tourism
like
department should pay us.
They should, yeah, or they should give a free plane ticket for us. How about that? Yeah, if you're listening out there, Qantas and what other airlines are out there?
I love Qantas.
Yeah, they were great too.
I
Yeah.
upgraded I booked a one-way ticket from Melbourne to Sydney on accident first class. And it wasn't even expensive.
Really?
Like, I think they were out
I
of...
never flew first class.
It was
man.
my only time flying first class. I tried booking a regular cabin, and they were out. So I think it cost me... I used my miles, but it ended up being maybe $50 or $60.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then they sat me in first class, and then I looked at my credit card statement. I'm like, God, they better not have charged me out the ass for this. And I was good.
That's good, man.
So Qantas, please fly there, and please sponsor this podcast.
Yes. Yeah, you can sponsor us by buying us plane tickets. And I will sing your praise every show.
Oh, absolutely. We will put your name in the Bible.
No,
We will pray to Qantas.
I flew with them a couple of times, and every time it was just a good experience. Just,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You ask Aussies how it is, and they're like, "Oh, wait, shit. It's really not that bad. I promise."
Yeah, they not everyone there really realizes how awesome they have it there.
They really don't. Nothing like this fucking Ryanair shit that I've been dealing with. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I'm also talking in general. Like, it's funny to see what Australians complain about.
Yes, it's great. Same thing with Americans. It's awesome.
Yeah, but even like you're from the U.S., I'm from the Netherlands, two first world countries who are pretty much in the you can call them. They're both like in the close to number one of the best place to live in the world, pretty much. And and Australia is probably is better than us because they always got better weather. Their economy is just always great because they got so much natural resources, and economy in Australia is just amazing. You know, like being a bartender, I got paid there $25 an hour in the evening or on a Saturday or Sunday. That would be like 30 or 35.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's by law. Like
Which is incredible.
They're not allowed to pay less than that. And I worked on Anzac Day, which is their military. They pay their respects to the military. And
that's what, April 25th?
I think, yes, something like that. Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah, and they it's kind of like Remembrance Day for you guys. And
Anzac Day is a really fun.
I was working during the day, but
you saw other people have fun.
But that was okay because they almost paid me $60 an hour to pour beers. $60
for someone else's holiday that you don't recognize.
Yeah, and I was like,
I know it's a holiday, but you have to work, Dick. No, don't make me celebrate someone else's holiday. That's terrible.
And it was a good mood. I was having a couple of drinks behind the bar too, you know, and they're cool with
drinking on the job, Dick,
because they're just laid back, you know.
They're so laid back.
They just don't care. It's all about having a good time. Just as long as you do your job and you work hard, and you know they're cool with that. You know.
I can't wait to marry an Australian. That's just gonna happen.
You should, man. Then you can stay there too.
Oh man, dual citizenship.
That would be your. Yeah. I don't think there's you can have a much better ticket than that, Australian and American passport.
No, you really can't.
Yeah. Well, plenty of gorgeous women out there too. So
Christ.
you
have no idea.
You better go back there and find one. Find yourself a nice surfer gal.
I found a nice little one from Coogee Beach. Yeah, she was a real nice girl. But turns out it's kind of hard dating someone 10,000 miles away.
Yeah,
to say the least.
I hear you. I managed to do that though. Actually got to marry one. It was like 10,000 miles away pretty much.
Very close.
Yeah. Yeah.
You found yourself a nice American.
Yeah, nice American gal. That's going to be the next chapter, man.
How'd you rope her into it? When a man loves a woman.
Yeah. And all that jazz.
And all that jazz. We're not New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, she lives near New Orleans. West Florida. Yeah, it's just one of those things that sort of happened. Neither of us really planned on it. We just walked into each other and...
No, if you planned it, it would be terrible.
Yeah, we just walked into each other and it just worked out better than... I don't know, man. It was just love at first sight and all that shit.
And all that shit. So you just saw her and you thought, you know what?
Well, when I first saw her, I was like, damn, she's sexy. Then, you know, then we started talking, and then it was like, wow, she's really, really cool too.
And she can carry a conversation. Tell me more.
Exactly.
You mean I can look at a woman without wanting to shoot myself in the head? This is a foreign concept. A beautiful woman that's interesting to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's got to be an alien.
Yeah. Well, she might be.
You're going to find out, though.
Yeah. Well, we traveled half the world for each other many times at this point, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. Especially having a travel-minded person.
Yeah, she's even more so maybe than I am, man. Like the first time, like I met her in Florida. Then she came over. She came to visit me here in the Netherlands. And then she went to New Zealand to live and work there for a year. And then I visited her there. And then I went back, and then she visited me in the Netherlands again. And then she went to South Korea of all places, and that's where we
out of all those places.
We went. I went with her to the North Korean border too, and I visited her there. Went to Japan together as well. And then I visited her. She came to visit me in Australia, too. And then I visited her in the States. Lived with her for 3 months. Had a great time. And that kind of... I don't know, that period kind of...
It was like, I've seen you all across the world.
Yeah,
I'm not going to meet someone else like this.
Yes.
I'm locking this one down.
Exactly. And
how selfish are you, dick?
Well, hey, man, I asked her an honest question, which she could say no to, and she said yes. So I guess...
she had the option.
I guess she kind of likes me, too. So
it was a 50-50 guess. So shout out to the lucky lady, marrying Mr. Dick.
Yeah. I love her, man. She's the best.
I don't think a travel-minded person could marry someone that's just, you know what, let's just go to a beach 2 hours away for our annual vacation every year.
Yeah.
I think that's number one on the list. Like, it's not going to work out at all.
No, I feel very lucky that I walked into this one.
Because, I mean, as soon as you want to go to another country, like, there's just some people that don't get it.
True.
Like we touched on, I mean...
I know this guy. He was a fucking piece of shit of a human being in many ways.
The bankrupt company?
Yeah. I don't want to name names, but he was.
Beep this out.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep.
But that guy, like, someone told me, but that has nothing. That whole story has nothing to do with this. But someone
asshole guy.
Yeah, asshole guy, just a fucking asshole. And he apparently his wife wanted him to go on vacation. Then they were sitting in the car. They were driving to Spain, and by the time they just crossed into Belgium from the Netherlands, which is like less than 3 hours away from home, he was like, "No, I'm not going to take this. Turn back around. I want to go home." And then he went back home, and the next day he was back at work.
Wow.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people like that, you know. There's that's another big thing in Europe. A lot of people have caravans.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched the old Top Gear when it was still great with Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond and James May, they would make fun of caravans and the caravan lifestyle and people who own caravans.
Like the caravans with the bed in the back, or?
No, it's like this little. It's not like the big, huge, super luxury caravans.
Is it a caravan with the bench seating?
I mean, it's just basically just a tiny. Like in the U.S., you have caravans that are huge. Like people haul them with their trucks, and they're basically
the RV.
Pretty much
recreational vehicles.
Yeah, but over here in Europe, we have these shitty little caravans that people drag behind their Volvos and Opels. You know,
is it like a small camper almost?
Kinda, yeah.
All right,
and they always make fun of that. And
that sounds miserable.
And there's people who just, you know, they have one. And then they go to the same camping place every year that's like 1.5 hours away from their house. And then they do that for 30 years.
It's weird.
Yeah.
For face value.
I just don't get it. You know, what's the, yeah. And those things are expensive too.
Yes.
Especially if you buy them new. They're expensive. And staying in one of those places is pretty expensive and you're taking a shit on this like tiny little toilet with chemicals in it.
It's so miserable.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And if you would take that money, you could fly to Thailand or whatever, or even fly to Spain or Italy, like or even just rent a car and just drive through Italy or France. Those are just gorgeous places. And
if you're married, retired, maybe it makes sense because you can have one for months at a time. But if you're just taking it out for a week or two here and there.
No, they in the summer they just drive to their camping, park it there for a month, and just sit in front of it and live in there, and then they go back home. I don't get it.
Like
a lot of people do it.
Yeah, for face value,
because they're shittiest drivers. they just clog up the highways. Yeah, if you're one of those people, I forbid you from listening to this show. I hate you. Fuck you.
I hate everybody driving. I have the best and the worst road rage ever. I never get mad, but I'll let you know of my displeasure really quickly.
I'm a very laid back driver, man. I always just kind of give people space. But if you cut me off, I mean, as long as you don't do injustice to me.
There's injustice everywhere in this damn world, especially on the fucking highways. And it just happens to be towards me while I'm going to work. There's nothing like the fast lane of someone going about 5 miles an hour
That's
thinking,
annoying. Yeah.
thinking they're doing a service to the fucking world. Who do you think you are? Get the fuck over. I'm going 20 over the speed limit. You got to get out of here.
Oh,
So you're going to get...
Have you ever driven on the Autobahn in Germany?
I need to.
If you do, you need to rent a cool car too.
I get my butler to get my Ferrari.
Yeah.
There's something like a horn, finger yelling out the window. Fuck you. Get out of my way. I got point A to point B. Let's do this. And I hate rubberneckers. Terrible.
What does that mean?
So we're driving on the highway.
Right.
We're going straight.
Yeah.
There's a wreck off to the side of the road. But guess what we want to do? We want to take our eyes off the road and we want to look at this fucking wreck.
Slow down.
So we got to slow down, cause a big holdup in traffic. The wreck is not impeding anyone from driving. See, I'm even about to go to the metric system. It's about 10 meters off the road.
Right.
But we have to slow down to look at it.
Which is 30 feet. Yeah.
Exactly. It's, what the fuck are we doing? How about this? We go point A to point B. Let's get to point B, and then let's use our fucking phones. Let's get on Google. What happened on Interstate 1? What happened on this highway? Oh, 36 people died. Well, that's great. Well, now I'm alive, and I don't care. Oh, but I have to see it in person. No. How about let's save this 30 minutes of traffic, and let's keep moving.
That's why I can't wait for self-driving cars. I love the idea of just cars driving themselves.
Yes.
And as long as I can
asshole computers getting mad at other asshole computers.
Well, as long as I can drive my own car if I want to, or at the track or whatever, I really don't mind. I don't understand why people are so scared of it. I don't understand why people are against
change.
it. Yeah, it's
people
just,
are scared of change, just like they're scared of travel.
It's progress, yeah, and travel, yeah.
I'll never go to Europe or Australia. People murder me. You can die a mile from your home.
You can die inside your home.
Yeah, you can die because of carbon monoxide poisoning inside your own home.
Yeah.
No,
or if you're like a short circuit somewhere,
yeah,
you just get electrocuted. Especially with your 110 volts in the U.S.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I got to get that strong converter. I blew out my GoPro in Australia. I won't do it here.
Yeah. I mean,
so people just worry about change and they're scared. And I mean,
I think that's a good message too. Like, if you're thinking about traveling somewhere, if you have a dream of seeing something, whatever it is, if you ever want to see Paris, or if you ever want to see the Northern Lights, or if you ever want to see New York, or if you ever want to see, I don't know, Rome or the North Pole. I mean,
I'm glad you mentioned all those places.
Flying is so cheap now too. I mean, if you plan in advance,
you can.
If you got a decent job and you're not retarded with your money, you can do that.
But that's what makes money and credit cards so great. Credit card companies are alive because people are shitty with money.
Yeah,
they're just handing out free dollars left and right.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't paid.
It seems that way though, but it's not free.
It's just a card. I can swipe it. 3 years later, why do I owe $20,000? I only spent $3,000. Yeah, because you don't read how much your rates are. You don't read all this compounding interest. Like you. So there's people like that give people like me free flights whenever I sign up for a credit card and then get like the sign up bonus. Do you have that in Europe?
Yeah, some especially American Express gives a lot of
y'all hate American Express.
Yeah,
and yes, I said
exactly.
Y'all. That's in the South. That means you all. It's real easy. Just say y'all.
Yeah, American Express. It's the best card if you want to get free miles and for airlines and stuff. But if you travel, it's a horrible card.
Yeah,
Visa or MasterCard is way easier because it works pretty much everywhere. Yeah, I've had American Express for a while, and I kind of like it because it kind of has like a prestige to it in a way.
Absolutely, it says American.
But Diners Club is even more so. But
Diners Club, what's up?
You never heard of that?
Diners Club.
That's the very first credit card. That's a very prestigious card to have, but it doesn't get accepted anywhere.
You said prestigious. I have 9 of those. No, I've never heard of that.
No, that's you should Google that shit. Diners Club credit card. It was It gets accepted in very fancy restaurants still.
All right. Whenever you
nice.
say Diners Club, I'm thinking like a Waffle House. Thinking like a Waffle House. Buy 5 All-Star specials, you get a 6th one free.
No, basically you got MasterCard and Visa. Those are like Maestro. Well, yeah. Those are the credit cards for everybody, and they're the best ones to have because they work everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got American Express, and that's kind of, well, it doesn't get accepted everywhere, but it kind of has kind of an elite vibe to it in a way.
Yeah.
And Diners Club even more so. Like there's just a handful of places that still accept that one. It's also pretty old.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have one. I have no reason to. I'm not a rich guy. Like,
yeah,
I have no reason to have one. But yeah,
but it looks good. It looks cool on the date.
It looks cool. Yeah, like when I was working on hospitality, like the few times a guy would pull out a Diners Club credit card, it was like, all right, like this guy's legit.
So he's gonna leave a tip even though he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Diners Club. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, the story behind it is pretty cool. It started out as like the guy who came up with it. He was like a rich guy. I think it was in New York or somewhere, and he was he went to a couple of restaurants, and I forget the exact story, but it started out with, well, I go out to dinner, I'll leave you a note, and I kind of have like a tab going at all of your places or something, and if I show this card, you'll just add to my tab, and I'll pay just at the end of the month or something like that. It was a story, something like that.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then that's what credit cards came to today.
Yeah, it's. I think they should have IQ tests before they hand out credit cards to people.
That's what caused the fucking 2008 housing collapse. Jesus.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that story?
I sort of kind of know how it went. Just basically
The Big Short?
They just
fantastic book, by the way.
They just gave money to a bunch of people who were never gonna pay that money back, and basically they did that a million times. And
yeah, because
what's the name of the book?
The Big Short.
The Big Short. Okay.
And
who wrote it?
I cannot think of it. They made a movie, and Steve Carell, a couple other big names were in it. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I read the book. The book is great.
I'll look it up. Thanks.
And
I'm fascinated by the whole thing too, because I remember it all too well, and I felt the effects of it too after I got out of college. It was so hard to get a job. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it happened in our lifetimes. Like,
yeah.
Like you read about it. Well, back in the 40s and 50s and back in the 20s and the Great Depression, like this was our Great Depression.
Yeah. Well, people weren't jumping off buildings, so.
Some may have wanted to.
Yeah.
But, they're giving mortgages to just everybody. Because one example they used in the book, there was a single mother, I think in Miami or somewhere in South Florida. She bought like a 5-bedroom house as her second or third house, and she had a couple of kids, and like she had one job, just a regular job.
Right, nothing fancy.
Her $30,000-$40,000 a year, nothing, just very average.
Right.
And you're buying a $200,000 home on top of what you already have. They're like, whatever, we'll just give her the mortgage.
Yeah, that somehow doesn't add up.
So basically, a guy saw a bunch of like a big list of all these people that couldn't afford mortgages. So he bought insurance against the subprime mortgages. So basically, he was betting on these mortgages to fail. And so he basically created his own market, because there was everyone that he asked, he was like, we don't do those because we don't know what the fuck they are. And he's like, subprime mortgages, this is where this happens. And then if the mortgage loans fall out and then she goes bankrupt, whatever, that's where I'm paying the premiums and I get paid out. So basically, So many mortgages failed, and all those that failed, he got rich off of.
That's fucked up.
Oh, no. No. I wouldn't even say ethically. I wouldn't say he fucked up.
No. I mean,
Because I would say,
I mean, props to the guy. He's obviously smart. But
Smart as fuck.
That's pretty fucked up, though.
it is fucked up. But what's more fucked up are these companies looking at him like, oh, this guy's stupid. This will never happen. It did. And guess what? That's why Bank of America and all those other fucking places, like, they're like, hey, we don't want to pay you. And they're like, you fucking have to. Otherwise, you're going under. So that's why all these like hedge fund guys, like I forgot the percentage, but I think they made more than 600% on their investment.
Jesus.
Like these guys, like,
yeah.
I think
There's like when things are just going very, very wrong, there's always a bunch of money, people making money off it. Yeah.
100 people can lose. One guy is making money.
Yes.
Because I think
that fucking guy.
it was about a year and a half into the operation.
I mean,
it was right to the point where he's like, I don't know if it's going to pan out. But like him and like two other guys are like, we have to stay strong. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Next week, bam, housing market goes down. All right, we're getting good. Next week keeps getting worse. When things get worse, it gets better for them because they're getting paid.
How much money did they make off it?
Oh, wow. I think if I said 500 million, I would be no, that would be a low number, honestly. I think it'd be a low number.
Right. Well, I kind of respect that, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Love it.
Yeah. So it's a hard, cruel world out there, and you got to look after yourself.
Hey,
I mean, good for them.
If you're not doing the fucking, someone's getting fucked. I mean,
true. Yeah.
Hey, survival of the fittest. Like,
yeah, for
I
sure.
love it
in every aspect of life. Yeah.
And spoiler alert: if you haven't read the book, they go to a convention, and then like the guy is trying to convince him, this one Chinese financial backer, to help him out so that he can buy more insurance. And this Chinese guy laughed at his face, and he's like, "This will never fucking work. You're poor. Get out of my face." And then like a year later, that's when he started raking in the money. The Chinese guy, he bought so much real estate in the wrong places, he went bankrupt and everything. So it's kind of like karma coming back around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, some people just are. Yeah, some people just can see things that other people can't.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Yeah,
because anybody could have done it. It's just if you do the time.
There's of course you're the same age as me. You remember the first iPhone coming out
years ago.
Yeah, it was 2008 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah,
something like that.
2007.
Yeah.
When that came out, my dear grandfather was still alive back then. He had a bunch of stocks and stuff. And when that came out, my first thought was buy Apple stock. Mm-hmm. When I saw that, and you know, I was like, I was just like a 19, 18-year-old kid or something.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I was kind of too shy and insecure to tell my grandfather who had a bunch of stocks and who knew about all this stuff, to tell him like, buy this stuff because I think this is going to be big.
Yeah.
And I should have told him, but I never did. Because
regrets.
Yeah, kind of. But I don't know. That's the one moment I remember where I saw something coming very clearly, because when I saw that, I was pretty sure that was going to be
especially
huge.
Being young, seeing technology, and you're like, all my friends around me, they're going to use this.
Yes. Yeah.
They're going to use it now. They're going to use it in a year. I can see it in 2 or 3 years. It's going to be used. This is the future.
Yeah. And I should have told him, but I never did. Yeah. That's another good lesson, I guess. Just.
And then he had like €1 million in the stock market, and he was like, "I want to gamble," and and that's when you're like, "Well, I have an idea."
Well, I don't know about numbers, you know. Like we never really talked about that, but he was a successful guy. Still one of my greatest examples for me in life, really. I hope if I ever get to be half the man he was, I'll be happy. Yeah.
Sounds like a hell of a guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
did he do much traveling?
Yes, actually he did. Yeah, with his family and his wife, and he was a doctor. He built a hospital basically in the town he lived in.
I'm glad we have doctors. Love them. I don't know how they do it.
And he many years ago there was in the Netherlands, like, well, this country is mostly below sea level, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he
sorry you won't be here in another 15 years. I'll make sure to visit before then.
Well, you know, like if we're sitting at this pier, we still got like 2 meters left or something, so it can raise a little bit, so it's all good for now.
I can walk in puddles. This place is nice.
Yeah, but no, like 50, 60 or so years ago, we hadn't really mastered the water yet here, and we in the 50s we've had like an entire city flooded and a whole bunch of people died and drowned, and so but at one point he was also in the hospital unit of the part of the military for a little bit, and he as a young guy in his late 20s, he saw what was happening, and he wanted to evacuate an entire city because, like, hey, there's sick people here, there's people dying here, and if we don't get these people out of here, we're gonna get a bunch of diseases here because there's, you know, like just corpses in the street and shit. And then you know, and his higher command said, "Well, you don't know anything. You're just like a lower."
That's a shitty leader.
Yeah, you're just like a lower rank guy. I don't have to listen to you.
No, that's terrible.
And then he actually wrote a letter and went to the guy who was the prince of our country, which has like a high command in the military too. Mm-hmm. You know, like the Netherlands is a monarchy. It's a different system than the US. But if you're part of the royal family, especially if you're like a prince or the crown prince, you have military influence. And he wrote a letter to him, and actually got to talk to him as like a guy who's younger than us now. And he's right away he signed off on it, and he, like, the entire city got evacuated thanks to him, and he just saved.
And which city was this?
I forget. Like I heard the story a long time ago, but he was a hero, man. I have a lot of respect for him. Like
the name hero is amazing. The definition that goes behind it, it can be thrown around very loosely.
He saved a bunch of people, though.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely a hero, but just in everyday conversation, be, oh, he's my hero. Like,
yeah, it's almost the same as awesome. You know,
yeah,
it's like awesome. Like, if you really look at the definition of awesome, like it's a very overused word these days. Or epic, that's another
epic.
one.
If everything's epic, what's average?
Nothing is epic if everything's epic. Yeah, yeah.
But how many true heroes have you met in your life?
A few, for sure. Not many, but a few. The guy we were talking about earlier, the guy from New Zealand who actually went out to Afghanistan fighting fucking bad guys.
Absolutely.
That guy's a hero, for sure. I met a couple of dudes in America who also went out and just fucking killed some bad guys. Those guys are heroes too.
1,000%.
And
because I went to high school with a bunch of guys that
if you're a firefighter, you're a hero. If you're a cop, you're a hero. If you're a paramedic, you're a hero. You know,
absolutely heroes.
Yeah.
But I still hate the debate whenever people say, "Well, they're heroes. Well, why don't they get paid millions a year like professional athletes?" I hate that fucking debate. That is the worst shit ever. When is the last time someone bought tickets to someone else pumping air into someone's lungs? Like, come on, Johnny, you can fucking do it. Save his life. Come on. Like wearing a Johnny jersey and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, being a hero is not about getting rich, you know?
No, that's what I agree with.
Yeah.
But there's so many people, like Facebook comments, that those are the best ever.
I try to avoid Facebook for the most part. I'm kind of on it because I have to, because of like the website and podcast.
Yeah.
It's how you keep in touch. But there's most of the time, most of the shit I see on there is just
It's garbage.
it is.
But
Yeah.
it's
It's
so entertaining to watch. It really is.
Don't you love the people who think they have like really deep thoughts and they
Then one troll just like see, that's what I do. Like someone can pour their heart and fucking soul out into something, and what I'll say is, you spelt "your" wrong, you fucking moron. It's not "you are feelings." No, it's your feelings. You own feelings. Your feelings. There's no apostrophe.
Right. Yeah. And but that's the thing. Like the website I run, which this podcast is tied to. It's
Pending sponsors from this beer company.
Pending sponsors from this beer company, and this beer is great. It's working very well.
It's working well. I think another one might work for me too.
Yeah, it's a website. It's like a travel blog kind of. That's how I started out. But that whole industry is just so full of self-indulgent bullshit. Like everyone in there thinks they have deep thoughts because they traveled to a couple of different countries. And
because they have a voice and
yeah, and it's the same formula everywhere too. Like they there's. It's always like a picture of them standing in front of a sunset with like the Instagram filter, and then some attributed quote on top of it.
Some
Like,
epic fucking quote.
Epic, amazing quote. Yeah.
When life gets you down, make sure you grab your lemons and you make lemonade. But I'm standing on a mountain and I'm sweating. Like, fuck off. Life is terrific whenever you're in a hammock and you're on the island when the breeze is going 15 miles per hour. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Quit this bullshit. You just Googled inspirational quotes. Yeah. Inspirational quotes that my mommy would like.
It's lazy. It's easy. It's intellectually insulting, I think.
Intellectually insulting. That's good.
Yeah.
I think what I want to start doing is when they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, it's worth way more because there's always a story behind it. And what I want to start telling is like the absolute story. Because everyone, like, you put on Instagram, oh my God, that picture is so great. Let me tell you about my day getting there. I stepped in dog shit right before I took this picture. My day sucked. It was raining right before this picture. I'm smiling right now, but guess what? There was that made me think in Barcelona, a bird shit on my head right before I entered the hostel. It was great. And it still wasn't even like my top 5 worst days in Europe.
Well, I mean, bird shitting on your head is not that horrible. You take a shower, whatever.
Yeah, it was really fun. I'll have to show you a selfie because as soon as that happened, I was like, it felt like an acorn hit my head. And then I was like, there's not an acorn under this tree. Wait, I'm not under a tree. A bird shit on my head.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. And that's kind of the thing I'm trying to do with my own website. Like I just try to give like an honest narrative about the cool shit I've seen. Just put some nice photos on there. And in the meantime, with the podcast, I just try to talk to some interesting people with some cool stories. And then that's it, man. I just try to bring some honesty in there. And I actually paid a bunch of money to be a part of this travel blog thing, to where they teach you how to build a travel blog. Like when I started that shit, I was still like,
it was like Nomadic Matt or something.
No, it was I forget the name of it.
Wandering Earl.
No, it was like every travel blog advertises this because they get a very good
commission
if people sign up to it. What's the name of it? It's like the travel blog initiative or something.
Was it American based or?
I think so. Yeah, and it's like the training they put up is pretty good, and you got this Facebook group, but it's basically just one big echo chamber of, just, hey, where are you now and what are you doing now? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of bullshit, and I'm kind of pissed at myself that I that I spent like $500 on it or something.
There's so many courses like that now.
Yes, but it's like that. It's a fucking scam. Ultimately, it's not worth. It's like I would pay $50 for it. That would be a fair price for it. But
Yeah.
you know, but they sell it so well, and you know, like ultimately. I'm an internet guy, so I know how to build a website. I know SEO. I know all that shit. So it was just completely useless for me. But I guess if you absolutely know nothing,
If you're a beginner,
then it would be helpful. But it just wasn't good for me, and it's way too expensive for what it is.
yeah.
I mean, you can if you spend that money on books, on building a website, taking good photos, or doing social
Yeah.
media, you'll get much more information, much more high quality information. But I don't know,
Because
man. I fell for it, so it's on me
the
too.
people that
I'm not
that
going to
spend-
hate on them because I fell for it too, and whatever. But it was. I mean, it's not like they're selling bullshit or whatever. The information in there is good, but. Yeah, you know,
It's not world revolutionary or anything.
It's not, no, and it never is. If you can buy some like invisible internet course that you can download in 1 minute for like $500 or $1,000 or whatever. But you know, like
It's like a loose guideline. It's like we'll kind of hold your hand, kind of like Dick still holding mine through the course, and then we'll teach you a little bit about the ropes and then this and that. However,
yeah,
you still got to put in the hard work. You still got to figure out shit.
that's for sure, man.
So that's why if you're a beginner, it's really good. But
yeah, if you know absolutely jack shit, then it's a good way to do it. But
I met some guys like that in Ibiza. They
and the professional travel blogger people who kind of like put their personality out there, aren't they the most annoying fucking people in the world? Honestly,
yes and no. The reason I say yes and no is because yes, they are annoying. And the other half, when I say no, because they're not annoying, they're boring.
yeah, and that's an even bigger insult.
Yeah, because I've like this guy that I watched videos from is at Lost LeBlanc.
I don't know. There's like a million.
He makes terrific videos, and he's in Southeast Asia. I mean, we both know Southeast Asia is dirt cheap. You can stay there for $6 for damn near 6 months. Like it's nothing.
True. Yeah.
But just his personality throughout the videos, I don't know. Can't do it. Love the video quality. I mean, it does great work, but watching it for entertainment, I can't.
It's just very it's just very self-indulgent, narcissistic, annoying. Look at me.
Yeah.
You know, I hate it.
Which is funny you say like narcissistic, look at me, which I took like the opposite approach in Australia because I posted maybe 5-6 photos, and it wasn't even because I wanted to. Like family and friends were like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Okay, I'll post something. Yeah, show me where you're at. This, whatever, I'll do it. So I took the opposite approach of Europe. I'm going to be in your fucking face, updating all the time. I'm going to let you know where the fuck I'm at every single second, and I do not care what you think at all.
But your recent, I noticed that because your photos from Europe, you posted a lot of stuff on Facebook but it was entertaining, you know? It was like you were just kind of making a joke. You were standing in front of a statue and kind of imitating the statue, and it was fun. Like you actually provided some value, and I could tell you weren't after getting validation or whatever, you know. And that's that's the one thing. Yeah,
My validation is
it's a helicopter. The cops are looking for you, man.
Jeffrey. This way. This is my escape helicopter. Yeah, it's not. I mean, the validation I have is being over here. Like that's enough. Like.
Yeah.
My goal is to get over here. I'm here. Like I'm validated enough. I do not care what people think back home. It's the same thing. How'd you do it? You say it like it's a mystery, like it's a puzzle.
Yeah, just work hard, save money. Don't don't spend money on
dumb shit.
for a while.
Don't go to the bar. If we want to have a
Don't buy expensive TV. Don't buy computer games. Don't spend a bunch of money on
like we're not. We've been in, like, I live in my same hometown I grew up in. So as far as like going out, when I'm home, I rarely go out. What are we gonna do? Have some epic night? No, I don't care about that. Can I have an epic night in Sydney, Australia? Probably fucking so. So that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Or if the right thing's in the right city, like, I'm only here once or twice. That's gonna happen.
Right.
So I'm not gonna go out in Columbia, South Carolina and spend $300-400 just on drinks when.
Hey, you can do that easily. If you want
easily.
To. Yeah.
I can go to a group of 20 people and like, hey, we're all friends. Let's do this. Next 2 rounds are on me. That's dumb. That $300-400 is going to last me a few weeks in another country.
True.
In Southeast Asia, that's going to last me 16 years. I mean,
you never been there, right?
I haven't been there.
You will love it. Go to Thailand first.
I got to see I want to go to Bangkok to see the ping pong ball tricks.
Yeah, I went there, and if you ever go there, you'll never forget about it, and you will walk out of there shell shocked.
I don't know. I just came from Amsterdam. Like,
well, it's
should I spoil alert the banana bar?
Well, I've lived in the Netherlands my entire life. I've been to Amsterdam many times.
Yes.
But I've never been to the banana bar.
You should have came with us, Dick.
What's the banana bar in Amsterdam?
What's the banana bar? I'll tell you what the banana bar is. The banana bar is a lovely establishment where I wouldn't call them prostitutes, but I wouldn't call them they're more strippers than prostitutes. They could be prostitutes if the patrons happen to pay for sex. However, at the banana bar, it's sex with a banana. So you can pay 50 euros for 45 minutes or 60 euros for 60 minutes, I believe. And when they say banana bar, it's literally just a bar. You get unlimited drinks for whatever time you paid for. And then
you can pound a lot of drinks in 1 hour, though.
Yeah, but man, these drinks are watered down with soda. It's like an automatic dispenser of liquor. So you get, I'm describing it with my hands and no one can see, but it's a very small amount of liquor. Let's say you get a rum and Coke. You get very little rum, a lot of Coke. Hey, Banana Bar, if you paid this podcast, guess what? I would lie and just say these drinks are the best ever. The strippers are the best ever. So make sure you give your money to Dick.
How cool would it be if I just pulled up a piece of paper now, like, hey, this is the Banana Bar in Amsterdam?
Yeah, right? Exactly. But, yeah, so you get unlimited drinks for the time. And then there are like 3 small bars where the girls are dancing on top of the tables. If no one's,
it's kind of like a strip club.
It's basically like a strip club, but it's not like stadium seating or like arena seating where there's a stage. Like, there's no stage. It's a small environment where girls are literally feet within you. So the more you tip, the more activities or acts, tricks, magic tricks if you want. That's what I don't know if you call them that, because the ones we saw. Oh, Jesus, what a time. What a time to be alive. Like, there are Eastern European women putting bananas in their vaginas to make a living. This is incredible. This is the American dream. Living in Amsterdam. This is great. The Netherlands are taking a note. That's good. But, so we walk in there, not even 2 minutes within being in there, this girl puts a dildo into her vagina and tells this guy to back up. So he's looking at her like, am I in trouble or what's going on? So like he stands like 4 or 5 feet away with his hands up like, what's going on here? And then like she's sitting down on top, basically on top of the bar, but it's padded so like the girls can lay down and do tricks. So her legs are completely spread and the buddies are just looking just as fucking confused as he is. And then she just has this look like, he's going to fucking get his. So, like, she's just looking at him, and then all of a sudden, from her vagina, shoots a dildo about 5 feet across the room. Like, he's bending back, missing it like it's the fucking Matrix. And then I'm about 2 feet from behind him. So it lands a couple inches away from me and the group that I was with. And we were just like, what is going on here? Did she really just shoot that dildo about 5 feet across the room? That is unbelievable. And then the rest of the tricks, like, apparently they have banana bars in other countries. And it's just like everything else. They put a banana or they put a condom on a banana. They put it in there. And then after a while, they unpeel or they take off the condom and then they unpeel the banana. And then if you paid for it, you get to eat the fresh fruit from their private parts.
I kind of don't want to do that though, from a stranger. Like, I don't know, man.
No, I'm with you. I love naked women.
Yeah, who doesn't?
But I'm not going to eat a banana from a stripper's pussy. I'm not going to do it.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do it gently, but I'm not going to. There was this one stripper, if you want to call her that, whatever is respectful. Sure, we're going with that.
Well, I mean, a spade's a spade, right? A stripper is a stripper.
Exactly. We're an entertainer.
Yeah.
No. Football players are entertainers.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're in the same boat as them? But this one guy, I guess it was his birthday or bachelor party, and they all paid for him to eat a banana. So he slowly went up to the banana, and she was like, no, be gentle. So as soon as his buddy heard that, he was like, this is a fucking perfect opportunity. My man had his mouth wide open on top of the banana, and this man jumps up out of his seat and pushes with both hands down on his neck, down on the banana, on top of the pussy. So basically, the banana goes to the back of this guy's throat. The stripper looks concerned and startled that this guy's trying to eat her pussy at the same time. And then just out of nowhere, the stripper looks up and she holds her hand back like she wants to slap this fucker, but doesn't really have the balls to. But then she's like, you know what? I'm a little smarter than that. I'm just going to let him eat the banana. So she tells the guy that pushed down on the neck, come on, eat this banana. As soon as he went down, she wraps his legs, her legs around his neck so tight he could not get away while he was eating on the banana. So he was basically choking on the banana while he was going down on this stripper.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so
that was your Amsterdam experience.
That was the first 5 minutes of Banana Bar. Like, that's not even talking about the butt plugs they have in at all times. Apparently, they have a postcard trick that I didn't see.
The Banana Bar in Amsterdam, and like I've lived an hour away. I've lived an hour away from this place.
It's incredible
for my entire life, and I didn't know this was a thing.
This is most definitely a thing, and it's going to be open if we want to take the next train to go out there.
Oh man. Oh dude, that's fucked up.
You got a train going straight into Central. We can make this.
Oh man, that kind of the ping pong shows in Bangkok are also pretty out there, man.
Yes.
It has a very, very dark vibe to it. Like, I was there with a good friend who was also from the U.S. He lives in Asheville now, North Carolina.
Man.
He
hippie city.
Yeah. I met him in Pensacola, Florida, where I went to college as an exchange student. A very good friend of mine. But we went to Bangkok together. We partied there, and at one point we were in a cab, and the cab driver asked us if we wanted to go to a ping pong show. And we were there in the cab, and we were already way drunk, as you are when you're in Bangkok as a dumb tourist. We were like,
sign me up, fuck it.
Sure, let's go. Take us to this place. We don't know the city. Just we'll go with you. We don't care.
Yeah, we trust you, stranger.
Yeah, we're lucky they didn't steal our kidneys or whatever. But we ended up in this place. It had a very mafia kind of vibe to it. It was like the dudes who we had to pay entry to. They were very scary guys. And then we went in there. And the room looked like the most, the sketchiest strip joint you ever saw. And then,
like, paint chipping off the walls and everything was kind of barren, and
it was the sketchiest place you ever saw. It was
on top of that, just people yelling $5.
Kinda, yeah.
That-
and then
man.
there was this show going on, and it was kind of like the same couple of tricks on repeat. The show was about like half an hour, 40 minutes, and after you saw it, you could stick around for as long as you want. And after the show was over, it was just mostly fun to look at the reactions of people. And most people were just disturbed by it, especially the chicks, like the girls that were in there who were there with their boyfriend or whatever. Like the look on their faces were just amazing. Like,
How far did they shoot the ping pong balls?
they could like make the ping pong balls land into cups. You know,
That is incredible.
it's pretty amazing.
So I'm choosing a Vietnamese chick for beer pong.
It was Thailand. This was Thailand.
Oh, it's Thailand.
Yeah.
All right, Thai chick, sign up.
Yeah, but you never really know if they're actually chicks or not. That's a danger too. A lot of lady boys there.
So the lady boy is doing ping pong tricks,
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's
but at the same time, would they be lady boys if they got the surgery? Because I mean, clearly they're shooting out
man,
their private parts.
I'm not an expert in that shit. You know, like
Oh man, I love talking about this. There's so many terms and there's so many things that
Yeah,
you
man.
can call them, and then
There's-
so even them isn't
there's
politically
like
correct.
60 genders now or something. That's another like new form of insanity that just
Yes.
popped up in the last 3 years or something.
Especially recently. I don't identify with the guy. Well, you're a woman. Whoa. Don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah,
I don't identify with a woman either.
I identify.
What the fuck are you?
I identify as
A barrel.
or as a attack helicopter, or as a bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird and yeah, I don't know, man.
I identify with the bench because everyone just sits on me. and they shit on me completely over and over.
Yeah, WorldCom mad man. They what's the expression again? Like the insane are running the asylum or something. I feel that's where we're at right now.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
That's why free speech and everything's great, but yeah,
It is. Yeah, it's
Jesus Christ. Like there becomes a point where it's like, what's going on?
free speech is great, and but it should come from all sides, though.
It's more.
I mean,
Maybe
it's,
not the-
it's great that these fucking nutty people get to say what they want, but people who say like, well, you're fucking crazy, they should be free to say that as well.
Yeah,
And
it just sucks.
I
They feel so entitled.
I feel that the rational side of this whole conversation gets shut down by a bunch of yelling and all kind of things.
No,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why free speech is great, but you have just a couple of morons that fuck up everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the same thing for marijuana, like in the States. You have a couple of potheads that want to smoke a weed all weekend and do absolutely nothing and be the stereotypical person that ruins it. While you still have a ton of people that smoke weed and that are incredibly productive, they get their job done, whatever. It helps them cope.
Yeah, they just want to
There's
get
so
high
many-
on the weekend or whatever.
Absolutely. But it's the stereotypical skateboarder. Hey, I'm going to smoke pot and do nothing. That's not the whole world.
Yeah.
Like, how many people do you know is like, you know what? Hey, Dick, let's go smoke some pot and kill fucking people. It doesn't happen.
No.
If anything, you smoke pot, you're like, all right, let's. I don't feel like killing people anymore.
I just want to eat potato chips.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna kill people tomorrow. Dick, go get some potato chips because we're gonna kick it tonight. But whenever we're not on the influence, then we can kill people. Like, come on, that's fucking ridiculous.
I'll tell you something, man. I've never had like a very argument. I've never had an argument that got out of control with a guy that was high. I never got into a fist fight with a guy that was high.
Yeah, like
I never really heard of a serial killer that did it because he smoked weed. you know?
Absolutely. Like, you never hear, I smoke so much weed, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
It sounds funny.
Yeah.
And the reason I think my words are so much more powerful, not because I'm American, however, I've never smoked weed in my life.
You never did?
No, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
You're in the Netherlands, man. What are you doing?
This
is your opportunity.
Yeah, it's not the legality. It's just I'm not a fan of smoke.
Oh, that's fair enough, I guess. Yeah.
But the benefits and how people enjoy it, I'm all for legalizing it.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
It's just it's not for me.
that's fair enough. Man.
But I can recognize that, hey, this is for a lot of people. And
Sure.
it's not for a lot of shitty people either. It's just that small percentage of shitty people that really do fuck it up.
True.
And
yeah.
it sucks.
But it's the same with everything, man.
It really is.
It's yeah. It's like
It's just old
that's the expression, which is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, it's for old, stupid white people. They're like, marijuana's a terrible drug. Shut the fuck up. Really? Why don't you burn down some and see how you feel?
The people who are most against it should really smoke some weed.
Absolutely. Like, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about just get the House of Representatives just blown out of their mind. I'm pretty sure they could come to an agreement on something.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I like Joe Rogan's show.
Shout out to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, hey man, shout out! You just got a shout out from the number one show that's got like 1 billion listeners.
Absolutely. See, Joe Rogan, you're number 2 to this. It's a good number 2 to be.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, he's almost got 1,000 shows soon. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, I saw that coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, he really changed the face of it, I think.
He's been doing it for a long time as well.
Yeah. I mean, Adam Carolla, he I think he was the first guy who kind of he was the first guy who transitioned from the successful radio show to a podcast and was actually really successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Stern went to satellite radio.
Yeah. Shit, Joe Rogan used to work with Adam Carolla on the Man Show.
He did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think Joe Rogan was the host and a writer.
Huh.
And the Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel worked together as the lead host on Man Show.
Okay.
Have you ever watched the Man Show?
No, I could never air it here, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. It's such a great show.
Yeah.
Girls jumping on trampolines. It was an 11-year-old boy's dream. So can you imagine my early years? Man, watching Man Show, Australian girls fucking stripping. Like, yes. This is why I love women. God bless women.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely the best things in the world.
Things. I see what you did there. That was a breast joke. You're sharp, Dick.
Yeah. Well, unintentionally sharp, I guess. Yeah. No, I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Big fan. No, big breast. I see what you did there. That's good. That's good. Dick's on a roll.
Uh-huh.
He must be butter. Oh. That was a dad joke.
All right, man. Let's. I feel like we should wrap it up because we've been going for over 2 hours at this point.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah, we're the only two people sitting here in this place still. The lights are still on, but everyone's gone.
That means more beer. And we don't have to take bathroom breaks because I was just about to ask for one.
Well, you'd have to break a window to get a bathroom break in this place, although the river's right in front of us.
Oh, they're locked up now?
Yeah, they're closed.
Are they?
Yeah. The place is closed, man.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'm about to go in a corner then.
No, just piss in the river, man.
Hey,
Fish are thirsty, too.
Hey, let the big dog eat.
But, yeah, dude, we talked about a bunch of different stuff. But I want to end on a note that has to do with travel. Like,
Travel.
You're an American dude. Not many Americans travel outside their own country very much.
That is very true.
And you did, very much so. You went to Australia, which is very far away, and then you went to Europe all over the place, too.
Yes.
Which, and all in all, it was a great experience. So,
I like how we talk mostly about Australia and barely Europe.
yeah, well, I mean...
We can talk about Europe.
Well, that's maybe we'll record another one next time.
Next time. As soon as my trip's completely done.
Yeah.
I still have 6 days, so a lot can happen.
Yeah. Well, you're going to Germany next, right?
Yes.
But, yeah, what would you say to... Like, imagine a guy sitting in his car, stuck in traffic, listening to this, or you know, like some guy working some shitty job. And,
I can tell you exactly what I would tell him.
And you know, everyone dreams about seeing the world. That's why everyone has like an image on their desktop computer background of some amazing.
Maybe one day I'll get there. I can do it. Maybe.
Yeah, like some amazing palm trees island or some beautiful mountains or whatever. Like, what would you say to that guy?
To that guy in his car right now, or female.
Or of course.
Or female, because it's not 1915 and women can vote and travel.
Of course.
I would say, sucks to be you. I'm traveling, Mitch. I'm in Europe, bitch, and it feels great. No, but...
On that note, well...
I'm rich, bitch. Love Dave Chappelle. No, but it's one of those things where you tell people, hey, you should travel. And then they say, nah, but I can't. You're fucking right. You can't. You're never going to, and you will never even step foot on half these places that I even think about going. And it's not that people are unable to. It's just they're not willing to.
Right, and that's another big misconception. You don't need to be super rich to travel.
My Australia trip cost less than all of my buddies' honeymoons. A honeymoon for a week? You spent what I did in 3 months? How? What the fuck did you do?
Right, because that also depends on how you're willing to travel. Like if you just stay in hostels, those places in Australia, they're like $20-$30 a night.
Yeah.
And if you're traveling to Southeast Asia, they're $3 to
like $5
to $8 a night.
Yeah, like $5 to $10 a night, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, no, less than $5 most of the time.
That's
actually.
incredible.
I mean, and you got some of the most amazing nature there. You got some of the most the wildest cities there, like the craziest partying there, and
exactly.
Like it really. If you can afford to drive a new car or buy a TV or buy an Xbox or whatever,
that's the thing. Like people want to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's a beautiful expression too.
Yeah, because you have a 2015 car. I got a 2016. How happy are you? Does it make you happy for a day or two? Like these travels, like I'm still talking about Australia. Like Australia still brings a smile to my face every single day.
And it will still in 30 years, probably even a bigger smile.
Absolutely. Like it's just going to grow even fonder. Like that's fucking insane to think about, because the first day in Australia, I was like, wow. Well, for the first hour, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm really here. And then after that, I'm like, I'm here. This is great. And ever since then, like, it's just like I did not want to leave there at all. But which is weird because like going towards the end of my Europe or my Euro trip, I can't wait to get home. I literally can't. Like these past few weeks have been just give me my own bed, and I'm tired of paying €1 to go to the toilet. The food, I want kitchens in my hostels. I want to cook my own food, but there's a lot of places that don't. Yeah. And I'm just like, I just want a home cooked meal.
Hostels are different everywhere. Like in Australia, there's a lot of hostels with big kitchen. You just go to the grocery store and you cook your own food. And
$50, that's a week worth of food, and bam.
Pretty much, yeah. But when you're in Southeast Asia, hostels are like super comfortable, nice big beds, nice rooms. It's they're really nice and clean. Actually nicer than in Australia for the most part.
Really?
But yeah. It's the nicest hostels I've stayed in were in Thailand, but it's a different culture there. People don't really cook their own food. There's a lot of street food everywhere, and for like $2-3 you can have like a very nice meal on little stalls on the street. Like you got a little piece of meat here, you got some fruit in this other stall. And
speaking of stalls, I need to use the bathroom really quick.
Well, let's wrap the show up then, man. Like we've been talking for 2.5 hours now, so
we can still finish on Europe though.
Yeah,
which is a little bit.
I'd say we end it here, man.
You sure?
Yeah.
You're the host.
Let's save some for the rest. So, like, what's the one thing you would say to someone who really wants to travel but that kind of makes up excuses not to?
The one thing I would tell that person, I don't know, personally, I would be pretty pissed off at myself. Like if I was on my deathbed and like, hey, what did you regret? Well, I always wanted to do this, but I never did. All right, what's the second thing you wanted to do? Well, I always wanted to go here. Well, I didn't do that either. Then you just go down the list and it's a bunch of shit you never did.
Right. The worst regrets comes from things you didn't do mostly.
And it's great because a lot of my family's older. And I mean, a good bit of them did traveling, but at the same time, not traveling like I've been doing. But I've just seen them talk about different regrets in their life. And just the look in their face like, oh, man, I really wish I would have. And it's the most heartbreaking shit ever. Like, when you're 75 years old and you're like, I can't do it. It's nothing like a 25-year-old like, I can't do it. No, you're fucking lazy and you're not going to. But a 75-year-old guy, all right, maybe technically he could find a way, but it's going to be extremely tough, being in a terrible health condition, rolling around in a wheelchair, traveling. Like, it's technically possible, but it's very uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, what, a 75-year-old guy got in a wheelchair around Rotterdam? Like, he could, but it's going to be pretty hard.
Right.
It's like a family traveling with kids. You can, but it's not going to be as great as by yourself.
True.
So it's just, I mean, we have the rest of our lives to work. I mean, that's not an excuse to be lazy and go to your job and don't do anything. But at the same time, work hard, have a nice balance.
Yeah. Save money. If you want to go somewhere, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want it badly enough, if you want to,
I mean,
save money badly enough, like if you want to,
if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way to make it happen.
That's very true.
It's the same thing with travel, your relationship. Like, is your relationship worth saving? If it's not, you know what type of boat you're in. But if it is worth saving, you're going to do anything. You'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and rub your wife's back if you need to, or fix her breakfast, or go to some shitty functions after work. If that's what needs to be done, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Same thing for travel. If you need to go to England one day, you're going to figure out ways to save money. You're going to figure out ways that you can take off time for work, blah, blah, blah.
Right. There's always a way if you want it badly enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a key thing. If you want it badly enough, there's a way. I think we should end on that note. Just
wise words of Gandhi. Mic drop.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. Is there any place where people,
thanks for having me.
Is there any place where people can follow you or find your photos or
Yes, you can follow me on my YouTube channel, and I would have a URL. However, I have less than 100 subscribers, so I am very poor in that market.
That's
so
all right.
Until then, you're going to get a link because I can't make a custom URL that says Ryan Bailey Eurotrip. It doesn't work like that.
Well, I'll put a link up in the.
I need 56 more subscribers, so hey, let's do this. Get me famous.
I'll try to help, man. Well, it was a fun conversation. We talked a lot, and I enjoyed it, man. Thanks
Absolutely.
again for coming on. We had some
you can let go of
beers.
my hand at any time.
And I hope to visit you someday in South Carolina, too,
You need
man.
to. You have a place to stay.
Thanks, dude. Well, I've driven through there in the past. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful mountains there.
For those at home, Dick drove by, threw out a middle finger out the window and said, you know what? Peace.
All right, man. Well, I guess that's the end of this episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And till cheese.
You've been listening to the Polarizer Podcast. Check the show notes for links and details on literally everything that was discussed and mentioned during the show. Subscribe to this podcast for free on iTunes or your other favorite podcast directory to never miss an episode. And be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review. Visit thepolarizer.com for high-quality articles on making life an adventure, traveling the world, being the best you can be, and other topics that fuel the fire in your soul. That's thepolarizer.com. One word, including the. Thank you for listening, and thanks for telling a friend. It really makes all the difference.